What is up guys, it's your favourite Scotsman Ryan here, and today we are going to take a look at MSI's X99A Gaming Pro Carbon Motherboard. So I have been waiting on one of these new X99 boards due to the fact they support Broadwell E, and I have a 10 core 20 thread 6950X beast sitting here that wants tested out, so finally I can do that. So with that said guys, let's jump in and take a closer look at the board. At the moment there are many manufacturers releasing refreshed X99 boards that are starting to arrive with all the features. Some of them we have already seen on Z170 boards, so you would think choosing one for my upgrade would have been hard. Well, the moment I laid my eyes on the Gaming Carbon Pro, I knew this was the board for me. At a reasonable price of $330 in the US and £270 here in the UK, not only is it packed out with features, it looks absolutely stunning with its natural black colour scheme with those subtle yet appealing carbon and silver accents. This is honestly one of those boards that you could take and put into any build no matter the colour scheme and it would look absolutely awesome. If you are one of those people who are looking to add a splash of colour to match the rest of your build, fear not, as MSI has packed the IO shield, PCIe hinges, chokes and more with RGB lighting known as Mystic Light, which I will show you in its full glory shortly. So in the box you get all the usual items like 6 SATA cables, half of which are at the 90° angle, SLI bridges, SATA cable labels, RGB extension cables which you can use to plug additional RGB strips into the motherboard to keep them all synced, and you also get a door hanger which I think is pretty cool. So let's talk about the features as there are plenty to get through. So as I mentioned, we have the LGA 2011 version 3 socket with support for Broadwell E. The socket is also what MSI call their turbo socket and features 2036 pins instead of the usual 2011, which will aid those looking to overclock. The socket is flanked by 4 DDR4 DIMM slots either side, which will support a massive 128GB of quad channel memory. As you can see, the slots have some silver armour that is said to protect your RAM from EMI, but either way it looks pretty awesome. The layout is pretty nice with low profile heatsinks, so installing most coolers should not be an issue if you utilise low profile RAM sticks. As you can see, we have 4 expansion slots supporting PCIe 3.0x16 that offers freeway SLI or crossfire support via the top 3 slots in a x16x8x8 configuration utilising any 40 lane CPU. The bottom slot shares bandwidth with the U.2 and M.2 storage ports, so keep that in mind, but to be honest, with U.2 support I don't see anyone caring. Speaking of the storage options, there are also a total of 10 SATA 6GB per second ports, 2 coming from the SATA E, so there are plenty of options available. As you can see, the PCIe slots are reinforced with what MSI is calling steel armour. We have seen this before on the Z170 boards, but basically the slots are reinforced with a greater number of solder points, and this in turn helps to eliminate GPU sag caused by all the cards we have on the market. It definitely looks good, and after testing a few GTX 1080 cards in the slots, I can confirm that it definitely works. So other features include an 8-pin CPU plug, and this board does feature an 8-phase military class CPU design, so you will have plenty of power even for those higher overclocks. We have a total of 5 4-pin fan headers spread out over the board, which includes 3 system fans, 1 for the CPU, and even a dedicated header for a water pump, which is something the community has been asking for some time. Up top there is also a debug LED, which is very well placed and always comes in handy when you run into trouble. And next we have our 24-pin connector, and just beside that are another 4 debug LEDs that hopefully we won't ever need to utilise. We also have 2 USB 3.1 Gen 1 headers, one of them which is at a 90° angle, and in between those is a killer feature which hasn't been seen before, and that is an internal USB-C port for the front panel. And I for one can't wait till case manufacturers include USB-C up in the front I/O, as utilising that will be a lot easier than reaching all the way around to the rear of the system. And honestly, having one at the rear of the system, I don't ever use it due to the fact that I can't be bothered reaching all the way around just to plug a USB-C cable in, so I'm definitely excited to see what manufacturers like Corsair and Fantex etc. come out with. So on the bottom we have our usual power and reset buttons, but next to that is the gaming boost dial that allows you to overclock easily. Last up we have Audio Boost 3 that delivers high-end audio utilising the Nahimic software, and honestly once you try this out you won't go back. So that takes us to the rear I/O, which is home to 4 USB 2.0 ports, a PS2 combo port, a handy clear CMOS button, 4 USB 3.1 Gen 1 ports that are actually red in this instance and not blue, a LAN port, a USB 3.1 Gen 2 Type A and C port, and the usual audio interface including an optical out. Okay, so I think that I have covered all the features on the board. If I haven't, I apologise, I am only human and there are a ton of features to get through. So with that said, let's take a closer look at the RGB lighting. So the RGB lights do look pretty awesome and you can take full control of them using the MSI gaming app on your PC or even on your mobile device to gain full control. As you would expect, you can go ahead and change the colours, or you can go ahead and add some effects to spice things up. Unfortunately, if you are hoping for zone control, you won't find it here. Overall, it looks great and I'm definitely digging the layout, but it is a shame that the dragon logo is covered the minute you throw a graphics card in the system. So just to round things off, MSI has carried over the ClickBIOS 5 that we have seen several times before. It is very well laid out and easy to use, especially in easy mode. For overclocking, you will have to disable a few features and really know what you're doing to get up and running. So failing that, you can go down the safer route and use the predefined profiles if you don't want to venture into the manual overclocking. I won't tell you the results I managed because I am including this board and the chip in an upcoming build, so want to leave it as a surprise. Either way, I will tell you that I was very impressed with the results and managed to stay within a very safe voltage while doing so. So that pretty much rounds up my review of the MSI Gaming Carbon Pro motherboard, or Gaming Pro Carbon. And if you have any questions, just ask below and I will definitely get back to you. This board is definitely worth the upgrade if you are looking to get into the X99 chipset, and I couldn't recommend it highly enough. As always guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Stay safe, be kind to each other, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace!